GBV, GBV, GBV. Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and we are in the Prog Corner, where today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite bands. It's Guided by Voices, y'all, and their brand new record, Scalping The Guru. And I know a lot of times my album reviews kind of devolve into history lessons, and there's no album that technique and that approach is not more appropriate than this one. And we're going to talk about why that is in 1 second. But yeah, about that history lesson. Well, Guided by Voices was formed by one Robert Pollard in Dayton, Ohio. Him and his drunken friends got together and drank beers in the basement, recorded songs in the 4-track, but it wasn't always like that. When Pollard started the band, he actually thought he was going to, be like a regular band, and he booked studio time and stuff. So the early material, not particularly great, but had some great songs. The first EP came out in 86, Forever Since Breakfast. First album came out in 87, The Devil Between My Toes. And then you had Self-Inflicted Aerial Nostalgia. You had The Same Place, The Fly Got Smashed. You had Sandbox. You had all those records. Those early records were good, but he was still really trying to figure out who he was. There was a whole lot of Michael Stipe going on. And then he decided the band was probably going to be done. So they were going to do one more album called Propeller that was going to propel them to the top. And well, that didn't happen. But what happened along the way were some copies of Propeller did get into the hands of some influential people. And by the time they came around to record their follow-up, Vampire on Titus, they were getting some look-sees from some minor labels, some small labels, and then they get a little deal from a label called Scat Records, and they gave them enough creative freedom to go out and do whatever they wanted. So in between Vampire and Titus and their absolute breakthrough, The Great B1000, they released 4 7-inches on 4 different labels. There was Static Airplane Jive in 93 on City Slang, Get Out of My Stations in 94 on Silk Breeze, Fast Japanese Spin Cycle on Engine, and also in 1994, The Clown Prince and Menthol Trailer. That was on Domino. Scat Records had given them enough freedom to do that. And I guess the idea was, just throw material out everywhere you can. Maybe somebody will notice what we're doing here. And it actually worked. Obviously, B1000 was their seminal record that really got them noticed. And, Rolling Stone was writing articles about them and stuff like that. But, we're talking about this new record and how it lines up. Well, all those great EPs that came out before B1000 in that period where Pollard was just getting a little bit of notice. He wasn't getting a lot of notice, so his ego hadn't gotten real huge. And these are just some really weird lo-fi tracks on here. Guided by Voices fans know the songs on this album extremely well. But continuing with the history lesson, Pollard blew up the band, brought in the Cobra Verde boys, and they did Mag Earwig, and then he did some more lineup changes, and they did Do the Collapse and Isolation Drills, blah, blah, blah. The band breaks up in 2004. Matador Records is having their 21st anniversary party. They invite Pollard, and he decides he's going to put the band back together, and within short order, the reunion version of Guided by Voices was back, and they dropped a whole bunch of records. Let's Go Eat the Factory in 2012, Class Clown Spots a UFO, The Bears for Lunch, English Little League, Motivational Jumpsuit, Cool Planet, And then Bob does a Guided by Voices album all by himself, which was really weird. Then the band breaks up again. Fast forward to a little side project called ESP Ohio. This kind of morphs into a new version of Guided by Voices with Nick Mitchell in the band. But things went a little sour. I guess he wanted to bring his wife on tour, and Pollard wasn't going to pay for that. And there was all kinds of other stuff going on. But he was given the axe, and the great Doug Gillard was brought back into the fold. And now we've got the second reunion era of Guided by Voices. And it has just been absolutely insane. There have been 13 albums dropped since 2017. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, that's just crazy. Let's run them down here real quick. In 2017, you had August by Cake. And this was a weird one because this has got everybody writing and singing and stuff. It's the most democratic album that Pollard ever did. Followed that up with How Do You Spell Heaven? The same year. Some great, great tracks on this one. 2018, Pollard only released one album, and I implore him to do that again. Space Gun, the best of the second reunion records. I love it. They had time to drop a live album. Has some really great stuff on here. Ogre's Trumpet. And then another double album, Zeppelin Over China. Such a great record. So many great songs. Then a little bit of Return to the Old Days with Warp and Woof. Came out in 2019 also. And then Sweating the Plague, the final record of 2019. 2020 saw a few things. Surrender Your Poppy Field. Yeah, out of order. Mirrored Aztec. Boy, I love that album cover. Oh, I got some vinyl dropping on me like flies here. The third album of 2020. Earthman Blues. Really, really great. Then we get into 2021. Styles We Paid For. It's Not Them. It Couldn't Be Them. It Is Them. And then earlier this year, they dropped Crystal Nuns Cathedral, an amazing album of really great pop tracks. And then the last one, Tremblers and Gobblers by Rank. What an amazing album this is. I didn't do an album review of it. I should have, but I will be re-ranking the Guided by Voices albums next year, I'm sure. That leads us to this brand new release, Scalping the Guru. And if you've ever ordered anything from Rockathon, from Bob Pollard, you know they come in the Guided by Voices packaging, which is cool because you know something awesome's going to be inside. Oh, yeah. And we get to this lovely, lovely little creature right here, Scalping the Guru. Subtitled The One-Off Sevens from 93, 94. So as the title implies, there's no new material on here. It's from those 4 EPs that we talked about a little bit. They've been resequenced. You know, he kind of messed with the order of the songs a little bit so it flows a little bit better. But this is right in the dead center of Guided by Voices lo-fi period. So there's a lot of real crazy stuff on here. There's a lot of real ugly stuff on here. There's a lot of stuff on here where, you know, Pollard's just kind of singing and he's got a little guitar going. Some of these songs don't even clock in over a minute. This thing is like 33 minutes long and there's 20 songs on here. Yeah, some of these are absolute stone cold Guided by Voices classics. Matter Eater Lad, Broadcaster House is not on here for some reason. But Grandfather Westinghouse is. Yeah, Big School and My Impression Now are probably the two big attractions here. But there's a lot of great tracks on here. I'm going to go through them a little bit. Starts out with Matter Eater Lad from the Clown Prince of Menthol trailer. Damn Good Mr. Jam from Static Airplane Jive is up next. Then they followed up with Hunter Complex. The 4th track is The Great My Impression Now. And then they do something a little weird while they're resequencing everything. We have a 1, 2, 3 punch from Get Out of My Stations with Scalding Creek, Mobile, and Melting Pat in the same exact order they appeared on the EP. I guess Pollard liked how they flowed originally, so why mess with perfection? Glowboy Butler's great song. Hey Aardvark, amazing. Spring Tiger and Rubber Man are all right. Big School's great. Volcano Drivers from Fast Japanese Spin Cycle. I want to talk a little bit about why there were a couple songs excluded from Fast Japanese Spin Cycle. Obviously, the first reason why you'd probably drop some of them is they were remakes. You had a remake of a song from Propeller, Kisses from the Crying Cooks. You had two remakes from Vampire and Titus. You had Marchers in Orange and Dusted. But we also had Snowman on that record, which did not make Scalping the Guru. And I'm guessing that probably didn't make it because Pollard didn't want to give Kevin Fennell any money after the old Let's Sell the Guided by Voices drum set online fiasco. I kind of do miss Dusted and Marchers in Orange and Kisses to the Crying Cooks, and I get why they're not on here. They're remakes, and this would be remakes of remakes. So, it maybe wouldn't make a lot of sense. Missing from Get Out of My Stations is Queen of Second Guessing. Not a big deal, but Blue Moon Fruit would have been nice, a nice inclusion. And I mentioned Broadcaster House not being on there. So everything else on those 4 EPs is here. There's 20 tracks on here. It's actually pretty amazing. Next up, what do we got here on the hit parade here? Glow Boy Butlers, another song from Static Airplane Jive. Oh, no. I'm at Big School already. And then Volcano Drivers from Fast Japanese, Indian Fables. And then it ends with the 1-2 punch of Johnny Appleseed and Scalping the Guru. I love those 2 tracks. It's a really cool way to end the album, with the So Cherry from Johnny Appleseed blended into Scalping the Guru. The title track lasts all of a minute. This song was also supposed to be the title for Alien Lanes when Pollard was shopping the album around. That was its working title, was Scalping the Guru, but they went with Alien Lanes. Originally, it was supposed to be on Capitol, but he ended up going on Matador. And here we are, 2022, and we've got a brand new Guided by Voices record to enjoy, which is, actually a really, really old record from almost 30 years ago, if you can believe that. There's a brand new Guided by Voices album coming out in 2023. I think it's going to be in January, called La La Land. That'll be like the 37th or 38th album in their discography. It's just incredible. I love Guided by Voices so much. You guys know that. But I just got in Scalping the Guru, so I want to do a quick little review of it. There's no new material on here. It's all old stuff resequenced, but this is classic Guided by Voices from that classic era. What am I going to score this thing? Come on, man. It's perfect. It's a perfect score. I love Guided by Voices so much. And, the lo-fi stuff, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can, wrap their arms around the really bad recording and the off-key singing and the lack of any kind of production at all. But I enjoy it. I think it really does show it, the heart and soul, and just kind of reveals exactly what's going on in the brain of one Robert Pollard. I love it. Anyway, hopefully we'll be getting around to the 4th installment of the very best prog rock album covers at some point this week, but we'll see how Naomi's doing on the editing on that. I got no control over that. So in the meantime, you guys have a great day. I will see you soon. Peace in the Middle East. God bless the King.